Jupiter is lucky because they were born lucky. Sagittarius is easy to digest for a lot of people. I mean, that's why you guys are here, right? I'm a Sagittarius stellium. It's my energy. We're funny, we're easygoing, we're kind, we're thoughtful, we're passionate. Yes, we're confident, but we don't want to we don't put other people down to get it. We don't feel we need to step on other people or diminish other people's light to bring more light on ourselves. We're not haters. We've never been haters. We love for everybody to win. We like to uplift people. We generally enjoy seeing people win because for us, it's like God is smiling at you. So I get to witness that up close, and that makes me feel very good. So Sagittarius brings a lot of good fortune wherever they go. If you bagged yourself as Sagittarius, your life is about to blow up. Because Sagittarius always knows who's going to be taking off in the world and who's not. Sagittarius can always sense who's going to be expanding and who's not. Remember, Sagittarius is ruled by the planet of expansion and growth. So they don't partner with people that are not into growing. Sagittarius' turn off, one of them is that. People who don't want to learn. One thing Sagittarius does not do is woe is me. We don't do that. Because there's nothing in it. What are you going to get out of it besides a hug? We do what did I do wrong? Where did I fuck up? How could I have done that differently? What does that say about me that this is how I reacted? This is what Sagittarius is here to do because they're an old soul. They're here to self-reflect and become wise and share their wisdom with the world. So Sagittarius is naturally lucky because of that. Leo is never in a negative. It's never a detrimental thing to be a Leo. It's always a blessing in astrology because you always have the light. Light is good for Earth because light creates. Light gives life on Earth. It's just Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus, Neptune. The sun is a giant ball of very hot, glowing glass. Did you know that the sun was made out of glass? Only a tiny part of its light and heat reaches us here on Earth. But even this is so powerful that it can hurt your eyes if you look directly at it. The Earth is one of 8 planets that move around the sun in paths called orbits. The sun and the 8 planets are part of the solar system. So when we're talking about planets moving around, orbiting around the sun, and when we're talking about transits, that's what we're talking about. Where are different planets located in relations to the sun? And as you know, Saturn moves very, very slow, right? Capricorn is very slow camera for sure. It's it burns very, very slowly. And Pluto moves very, very slow. Did you know the Great Red Spot on Jupiter is the biggest storm in the known universe? The spot is at least 3 times the size of Earth. Mercury is very, very small. This is why Gemini always feels the need to constantly be talking and to take up so much space because they come from this tiny, very small planet. You know, there's how some of the shortest guys seem to have a Napoleon complex? The shorter and rounder the man is, the more like a chihuahua. Yes! Look at how small Mercury is. Look at the sun. So have some compassion for Gemini. They just don't want to be ignored because when you look at the solar system, look at all the other planets and look at Mercury. Gemini needs some love, okay? Gemini just wants to be included. They just want to be appreciated. They just want to feel loved. That's all. They're not actually trying to take over. They just want to be recognized, okay? Moving on to Venus. Do you see how colorful Venus is? Do you see how warm it is? Do you see how beautiful it is? In astrology, Venus rules money, abundance, love, passion, peace of mind that you get from living a good life. When we talk about living a good life, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Venus energy. This is why Libra is so beautiful. This is why Taurus is so beautiful and so abundant. This is why a lot of times people see Libra and Taurus as lazy. It's not that they're lazy. It's that they don't believe they need to work. There's a difference. They're not lazy. They just don't believe they need to work, okay? They don't believe they need to actually work because they believe everything should just naturally come to them because they come from such an abundant place. And yes, there's no human life on Venus, but it is beautiful. Look at it. It stands out from the rest. Look at the color. Okay, now moving on to Earth. You'll notice that Venus is bigger than Earth, but Earth is still bigger than Mercury. But obviously nothing compares to the sun. This is the most beautiful planet out of all of them, and we live on it. This is why I recommend meditating on gratitude every day, so that you can remember how special you are to have been created to live here, because none of these other places are hospitable for you. And look at the beautiful Earth where we live. See the sea, see the earth. Look at all that. Look at the beauty of it all. If God has brought you here and you're still ungrateful for your existence, then where exactly did you want God to put you? Where did you want God to put you? Because this is literally the most balanced and beautiful place. Remember that show, Third Rock from the Sun? That's what they were talking about, because we're the third rock from the sun. Then look at Mars. You know why Aries is always like making a big deal and taking up space? Because Aries, just like Mercury, is rather small. These are the two smallest planets. This is why Aries is always like so arrogant and wanting to be seen. It's because Aries suffers from Napoleon complex, a little like Gemini. Tiniest planets ever. These two together. That's why these two are actually perfect together in love relationships, by the way, because they get each other really, really well. Nobody can get each other like these two. They're actually soulmates. So that's Mars. Mars is the planet of destruction in astrology. Mars rules Aries, and it also co-rules Scorpio. In ancient astrology, Scorpio is only ruled by Mars, not by Pluto. But in modern astrology, Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. I want to point out though that Pluto is not on this list. Does anyone know why Pluto is not on this list? It has something to do with when Pluto was discovered. Pluto is not considered a planet in astronomy. Pluto is considered a dwarf planet, which is not actually a planet. Because of its size, it's not considered a planet. There's still a lot of conversations around that in the astronomy community. So in ancient astrology, Mars is the only planet that is recognized or associated with Scorpio for that reason. So Scorpio and Aries both ruled by Mars. Pluto is too small to be considered a planet. It's also something about its behavior that makes it unusual when compared to some of the other planets. I told you guys before that there's snow on Pluto, and on Pluto the snow is the color red. It's bright red. So it's a bit unusual compared to some of the other. So we'll see where that lands in the future. Venus is Libra and Taurus. Mercury is Virgo and Gemini. So this is also the reason why Virgo's always nagging and why they're always trying to prove that they're the smartest person in the room. It's these insecurities coming from such a small planet that inherently have a lot of insecurities in them. And when they're not healed, what they do is they project that outwardly as opposed to handling them inside the house. So they project that onto the world, unfortunately. So Gemini and Virgo both share Mercury, and this is why these two often fall for each other in love, but they do not need to be together because they're too different to be successful in a partnership. The only thing they have in common is good conversation and companionship. Venus is Libra and Taurus. Earth, that's where all of us are here for our training. All of us came from these other places. We're like an experiment. We were brought here to Earth so that we can learn how to love. That's why we're here. Mars is Scorpio and Aries. Jupiter is Sagittarius. You can see, look at the size of Jupiter and look at the size of all the other planets. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. That's why Sagittarius has such a big personality. Your coworker has Mercury and Gemini in the first house, and she never stops talking. Oh my God. Gemini rising never stops talking. Ever. Ever. Especially if they have Mercury. Ever. They don't. Ever. It's nonstop. So Sag is here. That's why wherever Sag goes, they shine. It's hard for Sagittarius to hide themselves. This is also why a lot of people are drawn to Sagittarius energy, because there's a lot of energy there, whether we like it or not. It's just gregarious, it's loud, and it's going to be seen. Same thing goes for the sun. You know, Leo is ruled by the sun. Look at the size of Leo and compare that to the other. Now you see why Leo's so cocky. It's not that Leo is trying to be a jerk. It's that the confidence is like out of this world. They're born with it. They look at themselves in the mirror and they're like, damn, I look good. Like, wow, did God really make me like this? Wow, I could not even look better if I tried. Why am I so perfect? Why does everybody want to sleep with me? Oh, it's so exhausting. It's so exhausting fighting everybody off of me all the time. I guess somebody has to do it. That's Leo. And they're not even faking the funk. That's really how they feel. Because they're ruled by the sun. I mean, look at the size alone. You can't tell Leo anything. You cannot convince them that they're not as good as they are. That's one thing a Leo never plays about is their self-esteem. Ever. They know who they are. They know where they're from. They know what they deserve. Love it or hate it. But it is what it is. Right after all that cockiness is Sagittarius level of cockiness. You know, big planets tend to be like full of themselves a little bit. So you got Leo here, you got Sagittarius here, you know, because it's the next largest one. So a lot of full of themselves energy here. I've never met a Sagittarius with low self-esteem. Actually, no, that's a lie. Once. Water moon. It's the water moon. When Sagittarius has a water moon or Leo has a water moon, they have low self-esteem. Like a Leo with a Cancer moon is going to have low self-esteem. A Sagittarius with a Scorpio moon is going to struggle with self-esteem. That's just the way it is. Sun signs with water moons tend to struggle with self-esteem because their moon is all about feelings. So if they don't feel good about themselves, it's going to be because of that water placement. But the people that have a lot of sun in their energy, Jupiter, Sagittarius, or Mars energy are going to be boisterous. And you notice why Aries is like the most criticized of the fire signs? It's because of that size. Aries does the most. Like Leo needs Aries to chill out because Leo is like more dominant, but Aries does the most. So these two are always arguing, fighting for power to see who's going to be the most powerful. It's like the smallest planet and the biggest planet just like barking at each other. Meanwhile, Sagittarius is over here not giving a shit. I don't care enough to get into this with these two. I already know what I have. I don't feel the need to prove anything. I'm always trying to separate them, to be honest with you. It's like I'm the referee between these two. Because it's like here we have reckless, which is Aries, and here we have overly cocky. And then you have the philosopher here, Sagittarius, who's like, well, I can see both sides. So these three are a lot. If you don't like a lot of energy, do not date fire signs because they will literally exhaust you. We're a handful, all of us. Saturn is the most popular planet in the solar system. Every Hollywood movie that was ever made about space has always used Saturn. Always used Saturn. Because Saturn is the most like artistically beautiful planet. Look at the beautiful thick rings around it. Nobody else has these rings. Look at all the other ones. We have the sun, we've got Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and then we have Saturn. She's beautiful. She's steady. The rings that she has around herself just make her so unique in the solar system. Saturn moves slow. Saturn is really far from the sun. Do you see that? Look at where the sun is. Look at where Saturn is. Saturn does not get much light. This is why Capricorn struggles with depression. And it's also because Capricorn gets beat down a lot by Saturn and gets very little reward. Capricorn is expected to do twice the work for the same amount of compensation that everybody else gets. Libra just has to show up and smile and everybody loves Libra. Gemini just has to like talk people, into like a joke or talk to people and just make people feel good and people are like, oh, I love you. You have a great personality. Virgo just has to say the right thing and people are like, oh, Virgo's responsible because they look the part. So the further away from the sun you go, the harder it gets. Sun is luck. Sun is blessing. Sun is what grows plants. So the sun is good for life. If there's no sun, there's no photosynthesis, so there's no life. There's no creation. If there's no creation, there's death. So the planets that are closest to the sun tend to be well received, assuming that some of the other positions are negative. By and large, I should say, people tend to have a favorable opinion of these earlier, closer to the sun placements. Even with Aries, even though like you guys like to talk shit about Aries is a wonderful leader. The things Aries is able to accomplish in their life are phenomenal. The way Aries is able to rally the troops when something needs to be done, phenomenal. Nobody can do that. Aries is able to motivate people to be as great as them. Aries does not like to see people on their knees. Aries likes people to be the best they can be, because they generally have a kind heart. And they also don't like injustice. They're very big on fighting for justice. We're going further and further away from the sun. We're moving on to Uranus. This is why a lot of you guys don't like Aquarius. Do you see how far away from the sun Uranus is? Uranus is all about progress. It's all about transformation, but not like Pluto, but it's more about moving things forward via science and intellect. So yeah, it makes sense to me that most people don't get Aquarius because they're too advanced. They're in the future. They're too far away from the sun. They're too far away from life for the humans that are here to get what's happening over here. The same goes for Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces. Pisces also is ruled by Jupiter. So it makes sense that most of you guys think Pisces is weird, because Pisces is all the way back here. All the way away from the sun, the very last planet away from the sun. So why would the humans that are over here understand Pisces over here? And Neptune is a planet of the underworld, all that is hidden. So in addition, Neptune is also very dark. Beautiful color though. It's physically dark and the furthest from the sun. So Neptune does not really give, it's not really an energy that most people will understand, because it is both hidden as it is far away from what is considered common. Leo is what's considered common. And as you get further along, it gets to be reduced further and further. What's common for humans is to be chatty Cathys. If you're somebody who's introverted, humans think you're mean. Humans think you're mean when you're introverted. Nobody ever thinks Gemini is mean, because Gemini is friendly to everybody. So this, the closest you are to Earth and to the sun, the easier time you will have on Earth. The further away you are from Earth and from the sun, the harder it is for the humans on Earth to understand you. So people don't get Pisces, people don't get Aquarius, people don't get Capricorn. People don't really get Sagittarius, but they like Sagittarius. But people really get the earlier zodiac signs, more so. One thing that I find particularly interesting is that a lot of the earlier zodiac signs are also the younger zodiac signs. These older zodiac signs are all here in the back. Sagittarius is the fourth oldest. After Sagittarius, we have Capricorn. Notice how they're next to each other. After Capricorn, we have Aquarius. After Aquarius, we have Pisces. These are the oldest souls in astrology, and these are the youngest souls in astrology. And Mars is co-ruled by Pluto and Scorpio. Scorpio is also an older soul, but Pluto is not demonstrated here. Yeah, Cancer is ruled by the moon, and Leo is ruled by the sun. So technically, Cancer is not ruled by a planet according to astronomy, because the moon isn't a planet. And the sun isn't a planet either. And every zodiac sign has a constellation. Ruler of Aquarius in modern astrology is both Uranus and Saturn. Ruler of Aquarius in ancient astrology is Saturn. Ruler for Scorpio is Mars in ancient. Ruler of Scorpio in modern is Mars and Pluto. Ancient astrology takes more of a spiritual religious take on understanding your chart. And modern astrology takes more of a psychological take on understanding your chart. So that's how they're different. I do want to specify that people that are born in the West, and by the West I mean like Europe and the Americas, tend to be more into modern astrology. And people that are born everywhere else in the world tend to be more into ancient astrology. If you're someone who was born in another part of the world other than the West, I would encourage you to study your ancient astrology chart. You might get more spiritual insight from it than you would get from your modern astrology chart. And for some of you, your chart may not even make sense to you until you also review your ancient astrology chart. So Fatima wants to know, why is Sagittarius, Libra, Pisces, Taurus lucky and their planets? Sagittarius is the luckiest zodiac sign because Sagittarius comes from Jupiter. Jupiter is the luckiest planet in astrology, and I think it has something to do with its positioning because it's balance. The universe loves balance. Remember that always. The universe loves balance. Sagittarius is right there in the middle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's right here. I would argue Mars is also very lucky in some regard, even though it's like in negativity. When it comes time to fight, nobody can fight their way to the top like an Aries. Nobody. That's why people hate Aries, because when Aries talks shit and they demonstrate that the shit that we're talking can be backed up, people get mad. They get mad because they were mad that Aries was talking shit to begin with, and now they're mad that they have to eat it up because Aries is never going to let themselves down. So these two planets, Aries and Jupiter, I would argue, are all, Aries is also lucky in the art of destruction. But in astrology, Jupiter is the luckiest planet because it's like the right proportion of like understanding and lack of understanding. So the people over here are concerned with the physical realm. The people over here are concerned with the spiritual realm, okay? These people over here are concerned with the unseen. These people over here are concerned with what's seen. These people are the babies. These people are the grandparents. And as you go down, you get older and older and older, okay? Taurus is ruled by Venus, and so is Libra, and they're lucky because that is a planet of abundance. It's a planet of money. When you're Taurus Libra, money follows you wherever you go. If you're Taurus and Libra and you're broke, schedule a reading with me because you're doing something wrong. You're not living right. Because one thing that should come easy to you is money. One thing that should come easy to you is love. One thing that should come easy to you is abundance and peace of mind. If you don't have those things and you're from Venus and you have a Venus rule chart and you have like stellium and Venus sign, we need to have a conversation. You're not doing it right. So that's why Taurus and Libra are lucky. Now you were asking about Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Neptune and also by Jupiter. Because they're ruled by Jupiter, they're naturally lucky. And because they're ruled by Neptune, they have their dream world on their side because they have psychic energy. So Pisces can always know what everybody else doesn't know because they're the oldest person in the zodiac. People are jealous of Leo's light. Leo has a lot of light. When Leo comes into the room, everybody knows Leo is here. People hate that. People resent it. They resent it. It irks them that when they come in, nobody turns around the way people turn around for Leo. It literally burns their heart. It burns their chest. And it doesn't make them feel good that Leo also oftentimes looks good. Leo looks good and Leo also takes care of themselves. So they try to find ways to like throw shade to Leo. They call Leo superficial. They call Leo names. They want to make themselves feel better about the fact that they don't have this light. They're jealous. They're jealous they don't have this light. It makes them angry. But this is how God made Leo, to be the star. Look at it. Look at it. What did you think they were going to be? Someone that's depressed? Someone that's downtrodden? Someone that doesn't believe in themselves? Someone who doesn't go for the things they want? Someone who's not audacious? Like, what did you expect when you look at the size of this and you look at these sizes? What did you expect? So Libra, because of their proximity to Leo, is also lucky. Same with Taurus. For Mercury, it can go either way depending on placements. Mars, Aries isn't necessarily lucky, but Aries is tenacious. That's what their luck is that they have drive. They have stamina. They have no quit in them. If Saturn works hard, they always get what they want. Capricorn always gets to their riches. It's not that they don't. They always get there. They just have to work hard at it. They can't quit. That's the thing. When they don't quit, they get what they want. And the other thing with Capricorn is they have ethics and morals and principles. You know, when you look at the list of billionaires all over the world, you will see more Libras represented because Libra is abundance and people want to give Libra things in general. Even though Capricorn works the hardest, it may not necessarily be represented because Capricorn has ethics and morals and values. Because Capricorn is an old soul. The stuff that Libra gets away with, like the two-faced stuff, the manipulative stuff, the like saying what other people want to hear so you can get your way stuff, Capricorn can't get away with being shady. Libra can, because Libra is younger. Libra gets more grace. So the universe punishes and rewards differently too based on your spiritual age. This is why people are always doing Pisces dirty, because by now Pisces should know how to protect themselves. I recommend getting a personal reading because everything is not for everyone. Some people can get away with certain things that you cannot get away with spiritually. And it's important for you to know where you stand spiritually, what you're here to learn, what obligations are on you, what you're responsible for, so you can make smart decisions. You know, Gemini is allowed to get away with a lot. Some of the stuff Gemini says, like, Pisces can't say that. Because if Pisces said that the way Pisces said it, it's going to come out serious and nobody's going to be laughing. Pisces could repeat verbatim what Gemini said that had everybody rolling. But now all of a sudden Pisces is mean. Same with the stuff Aries gets away with. Aquarius can't get away with that. Capricorn can't get away with that. All of us are held to a different standard depending on our spiritual journey. You know, and our sun sign is like who we're here to become. It's what we're here to learn about ourselves. So it's important that we work on understanding ourselves better so that we're making these decisions based on like our age. Because that's what you're going to be held to. It's your age, your level of maturity. Like, how many lives have you lived before this one? Okay, so this is going to be my last question. What about Pluto? So Pluto is not a planet. It's a dwarf planet. It rules Scorpio. Scorpio is an adult in astrology. Scorpio is like a 40-year-old that went through their first divorce. That's why they're so depressed. And that's why they're not with the bullshit. Because they've already been burned. They know it's not sweet out here anymore. They've already seen it. They know it. So Yeah, they're a little over it. So all the adults in astrology start with Libra. Libra is the youngest of the adult, and you can see that in their immaturity. Then from Libra, it goes to Scorpio, a little bit older, but not quite all the way yet, because they're still wrapped up in their negative emotions a little too much. And then moving on to Scorpio, which a little bit older, but again, not so mature, because they're still very childish in a lot of ways. Capricorn swings between Sagittarius swings between being like childish and being mature. And then you move to Capricorn, who's the first real adult. You notice Capricorn is never jokey, unless they know you. So Capricorn is when you get like really adult. And then obviously Aquarius is very adult, but because of Uranus, they come across very like unpredictable, and that gives them a youthfulness to them. And then Pisces is the oldest. So that's basically how it works. That's why it's always funny to me when people mess with Aquarius. It's like, do you not realize you're dealing with an adult? Just because they're quiet and laid back doesn't mean they don't have the pettiness and maturity of Uranus in them. Like, if you want them to treat you like a science experiment, they're happy to. They will destroy your world in the process. They will. Absolutely, they will. Because they love teaching lessons. And that's exactly what Aquarius is here to do, mind you, is to teach all of us a lesson about life. So that was it. That's my first encyclopedia. Since you guys like this, I'm going to do more of this in the future, where we talk more about astrology in like more concrete terms. Because there's so much in here that I find very fascinating. That makes me think of the zodiac signs. Like, the zodiac signs as a season. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much to learn. There's always so much to learn about the world. Don't forget to go listen to our podcast. This week we're talking about dating exes and fucking friends and that sort of thing. Things that I don't do, obviously, but I know some people do. We talked about Venus retrograde. Something to watch out for. Those exes are going to be coming out the woodworks. Remember, they're an ex for a reason. Leave them over there. If it was meant to work, it would have worked the first time. Sometimes the universe will bring people back just to see if you're still stupid or to see if you learned your lesson. It's usually just a test. So I want all of you to pass your test. Don't fall for it. And if any of you think you found love this summer, please stop it. Nobody finds love during Venus retrograde. Just stop it. Keep them where they're at. It's not love. It's a test. Don't fail your test. Okay? Don't fail your test. You're too good for your ex. You're too good for your ex. They can handle you. That's why they're an ex. So leave them at this low level that you left them at and keep raising the bar. Keep rising. Keep going up and go so far up that they can't even reach you. That's what I want for you. Go so far up that they can't even reach you. That's it. Do better. Let them find less, okay? Because you were obviously too much. Let them find less. All right? Okay, guys, I love you.
For more astrology content, you may follow all of our YouTube astrology channels. The first one being at Intuitive Healing for Astrology 101, at Styled Under Libra for Love, at Astrology Weekly for horoscopes and manifestation, and lastly at Styled Under Virgo for medical astrology. You may check out intuitivehealing.com for astrology readings as well as healing crystals, and make sure to check out our manifestation group on Patreon at patreon.com/intuitivehealing. Catch you soon on the next video.